now what we are desperately trying to fight for is that a court has already said allow him to travel for his medication. They are the one that insisted on the hospital. Of course, we gave them the option of the hospital, but they were the one that insisted. After it has failed, now we need him to go to another hospital. That is what we're fighting for. Obviously, we know that the justice system in Nigeria is slow and obviously very corrupt, but the fight is still that we're trying to get him out of the hospital, out of Nigeria, to get the desperate medical emergency that he needs. So, well, it's up to the government, but the lawyers are in court, and we are speaking to their people, we're speaking to our people to make sure that this happens fast and as smooth as possible. I know he's also been allowed to choose the countries he will visit. Yes. How true is it? Well, we are trying to get a country that is comfortable with. We went to India thinking that they will be open, humane enough to treat a man who is dying, but unfortunately they collaborated with the Nigerian government and they did not treat him. So this time we're trying to make sure that we have all of our bases covered, so that when we get there, they are not going to face the same similar issue that they encountered in India. So that is why we're trying to select a country that is more welcoming, that is more receiving, that is more humane, in order to treat him and get him the urgent medical treatment that he needs. Police, who are those who carted away with them. We implore the help of Red Cross during the 2019 the carnage that was. We went to Red Cross because they weren't speaking to us already. They tagged us as terrorists. We have called on other human rights defenders in Nigeria to speak on our behalf. To go, at the very least, if you are charging them, charge them. Let us go to court. If you're not charging them, then release them. We've done the best we can. This is another medium for us to call upon the government to do what is right, because obviously they never do anything until it's forced upon them. So this is also an avenue for us to call upon them to release these girls. We've done everything we can. We are exhausting all of the legal avenues that is available to us to make sure that these girls get back to their families who are desperately awaiting their return. Yeah, I know you details about some of the sisters that we're missing. Sumaya Isa Hassan is from Zaria. She's an ABU biochemistry student. Fatima Waziri Isa is an ABU Zaria also. Nusaiba Abubakar Zaki Gwangwalada is a student of Abuja University, 200 level geography. Fatima Abubakar Zaki Gwangwalada was in FCT University College of Education. We have Fatima Adam Gausu, who is also a student of Danfodio University studying fishery. These are not just named gentlemen. These are human beings. These are people with life, with dreams. They had their aspiration. They have their life to live. Their mothers and fathers are at home grieving for them because they have been taken and we don't know where they are. We've done everything we can in order to find them, to have them released, but nothing has yet been done. They have not been charged. They are in hiding somewhere. God knows what is being done to them. Some of them have life-threatening injuries. Some of them have been injured. We don't know what is being done to them. This is the 46th week, and we're still waiting. Their families are still waiting. If Nigerians can be anguished about the Chibok girls, then we should be anguished about the Zaria girls, because they are all the same. We cannot continue to hilly-willy pick those we want to support and those we don't want to support. If you support a cause, then you have to support it wholeheartedly. You can't pick a side you want to support today and ignore another side, even though they are facing the same atrocities. This government, we are calling on the President Buhari to release these girls. Of course, we saw his tweet when he was congratulating girls when we were celebrating World Girl Child Day. But we are asking him to also remember that the girls that were taken also have their lives to live. They have what to contribute to the world. They want to contribute to the society. They want to contribute to Nigeria. And he's depriving them that right. He saw an oath as a president to protect every single life, regardless whether they support him as the president or not. It's an oath he swore. And he has failed at that, and he's still failing. We'll continue to demand for their release immediately, and will continue to come out to protest for our brothers who are still languishing in different detention camps since 2015 and subsequently throughout the year till date. and will continue to demand for the release of Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaky Hafizahullah, because the High Court has already said release him unconditionally. It's only our president's disregard for the rule of law that is protecting him as a president that has refused to allow him to be released. And we know for a fact that he is a traitor. Even though he's a president, he's still a traitor, because he is receiving his directive from a foreign government, which is in itself the worst kind of atrocity that can be committed against the sovereignty of Nigeria as a state. PMB and what's his name? Mohammed bin Salman clearly said with his own mouth while he was giving an interview that they paid and sponsored the Zaria massacre. The question we have for the president is, if you swore an oath to protect your people, why are you receiving money from a foreign agent in order to kill them? Thank you very much. Forum under the leadership of Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaky Hafizahullah, and this press conference is called in order to call the attention of the public to the urgent matter of our missing sisters. We'd like to inform the general public that the families of the 705 people that got missing over the course of the December 2015 massacre in Zaria are still anxious for the return of their missing children. For 6 months after, as pretty long a sting at his ears, neither the Nigerian army nor the police are saying anything about the missing person or their whereabouts. Even more distressing is the case of 23 girls kidnapped. These girls were made off with in broad daylight. Attached to this press release is a comprehensive list with their names and where they hailed from. Most surprisingly, the stage managers of the massacre, particularly President Muhammadu Buhari, on whose table the box stops, are keeping mum, and their flinty silence is quite deafening. If Saudi Arabia footed the bill of the massacre, Buhari is the proxy through which it was ordered, and the army, along with the police, are the handy instrument for its execution, headlong into a bang. Thus, from the orchestrator down to the killer cum arsonists, troops and undercover agents, no one wants anyone to be informed about the fate of the missing people. But if anything else, the government silence acquiesces to more conspiracies in the offing. Nigerians and international communities are well acquainted with the massacre, where more than 1,000 innocent men, women, children, and aged, and even infants were killed within 48 hours in Zaria, Kaduna State. Even pregnant women and nursing mothers were not spared. Some were burnt alive, others were gunned down, with the victims buried in graves, in mass graves, so as to do away with the conclusive evidence of the war crimes. Sheikh Zakzaky Hafizahullah, his wife Malama Zina, and many more of his followers are languishing in detention in spite of life-threatening injuries they had sustained. The brutal carnage left hundreds wounded, some of which are still battling with the effects of the wounds till date. Furthermore, the perpetuation of the persecution continues without any stop. The most recent of such wanton crimes are the October 2018 bloodbath during Arba'in symbolic trek and the July 2019 bloodletting in the Free Zakzaky protest, both in the capital city, Abuja. What took place on December 12, 2015 had been clandestinely planned to be sponsored through petrodollars by Saudi Arabia. Buhari approved it and the army carried it out, and the police are now putting finishing touches to it. The prime targets for elimination and obliteration is Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaky and the Islamic movement he pioneered and is leading. They had planned to kill him on 12 December 2015 before 12 midnight, but in the wake of the failure of December 2015 project, a directive has now been given to the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, to continue with the massacre under the guise of the expertise prescription ruling made by the Federal High Court in Abuja. Is this not a cover-up of all sorts against atrocity hostile to the follower of Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaky? One need no crystal ball to get the hang of what has been and is still happening. Nonetheless, Zaria girls are like Chibok girls. Yes, they are all human beings. It is either one is for humanity or against it. No one can make an escape from this choice. The humanity that aroused the interest of people of conscience as well as civil service organization in respect to the Chibok girls should provoke them about Zaria girls, and thus the campaign for Bring Back Our Girls ought to include them. In fact, the kidnappers of both Chibok and Zaria girls are not double-edged. Nigerian army and security personnel are capable of apprehending whoever commits an offense like Chibok girl, but they are busy negotiating and paying huge ransoms to these criminals. This is a clear indication that there is something fishy about this whole matter. However, Zaria massacre abductors and their identity in Chibok. By analogy, while the abductor hid their identity in Chibok, the urge to put a rap to it was disregarded in Zaria. They came with their identity unconcealed, they killed and kidnapped innocent citizens during the massacre. The wind has blown. Nay, it is getting up and no date for its dropping. While these vicious atrocities committed by President Buhari and his accomplices, the IGP, who killed a senior police officer and a court member in order to justify the killing of 12 peaceful Zegzeki protesters, is jumping from one media house to another, tagging Free Zegzeki protest and religious procession as terrorist act. We have the right to carry out a religious procession, and we will and shall continue to demand for the unconditional release of Sheikh Ibrahim Zegzeki Hafizahullah and his wife. Similarly, we will continue to oppose all forms of tyranny and oppression in Nigeria. Thank you very much. It's like